guys, today I'm going to show you how to use Photoshop to edit and enhance a photo. We'll show you different techniques you might find helpful when you eventually tackle this by yourself. As you can see, the photo is already open, and I'm just going to duplicate the layer just so I can have a background copy. Now, the original photo is not going to be touched. That's what the lock screen is here for. Just so if you ever mess up, you can make another layer if you need it. If you want to, you can just rechange the name by double-clicking it and just changing it to whatever you want. Here, I'm just going to stick to background copy. Now, on to editing. Today, we're going to enhance the color and brightness of the photo, add some more clouds to the scenery, and we're going to remove all these little imperfections that you see here in the water. First, I'm going to show you guys the adjustment layer tool. As you can see, this little circle at the bottom is the adjustment layer tool. What that does is it'll add new layers to the photo, and it could change the look of the photo itself. For example, we're going to be using the brightness contrast tool first. Now this tool is going to brighten up the screen, and the contrast tool is going to, as you can see, contrast. Now I don't want it here, so I'm just going to play around with it till it gets to where I want it to be. As you can see, I adjusted the brightness to -16 and the contrast to 39. Next, I'm going to remove these bubbles right here. Make sure that you are on the correct background that you want to edit, because if it's just on the vibrance layer, it's not going to do anything. So I want it to be on the background copy. Then I'm going to click right here with the spot healing brush. The spot healing brush basically takes sections of a different picture closest to it and we'll just change it right there. For example, like right here. You can see that the dot where it was before is now gone. I'm just going to do that on the other sections as well. You need to be careful though, because if you do it too much, then it will just look different and will look messed up, like right here. Now, if you mess up really badly, this tool right here shows you the history, and it'll show you all the spot healing brushes I've made, and then you can just go back and check to where you want it to be. So that's where I was and where I want to keep it at. You also need to get in the habit of saving, and especially places where it's easy to access the picture. So I have it on my PSD. It's already at the folder where I want to save it at, so I'm just going to click Save. And you're going to hit OK. Next, we're going to attempt something a little more difficult. We're going to add more clouds to the sky that you see right here. There's two ways you can do that. The first way is to download cloud brushes online. One place you can find it is a website called Brusheezy. But today we're going to do that. For today, we're going to use the quick selection tool to copy some of these clouds and place them into different spots that we want it. First, I'm going to zoom in into the clouds by using the navigator tool in the top right corner. Just zoom in a bit, say up to 700 should be fine. Going to move it around, and I guess I'm going to use this cloud for now. I'm just going to select this cloud. Now I got it pretty easily, but I don't want my selection to be too rough. So I'm going to right click, hit Refine Edge, and as you can see right here in the drop down menu, there's different ways you can look at your selection. One on black, on white, on layers, but I'm going to use overlay so that way I can see my selection more clearly. Now it looks pretty smooth right here, but just in case I'm going to feather it a bit so it'll look a bit more cloud-like. Feathering is basically smoothing out the edges a bit so it like almost goes inside the selection itself. I'm going to leave it at, I'd say, 1.3. And you can see my selection right here. I'm going to right click again and hit Layer via Copy. And as you can see, I got my cloud. You can look right here. Now going back up to the selection tool right here, click on my layer, and then just move it around. As nice as the cloud looks, you can obviously tell that it's a copy of the cloud. So I need to change that. To do that, I can go down here to opacity and change the opacity. So as you can see on the cloud right here, it's changed about a bit. Another thing I can do is to change the size. To do that, I'm going to make sure that my layer is clicked on. Then I'm going to hit either Command T on my MacBook or Control T on a PC. Then need to hit the Shift key so I don't change the perspective too much and just change the size. Then I can move it right here. It's important to make sure where you're clicking whenever you're adjusting the size, because if not, then you can change it too much. Also, always make sure that your shift is on whenever you're changing the size. Another thing you can do is scale it, rotate it, perspective, and I'm going to rotate it 180. You can tell it's been changed now. And then I hit enter, and then you got another little cloud. Move it right over here. And I'm going to do that a couple more times. Now I kind of want to add a big cloud, so I'm going to select this one right here, and I'll show you how you can make it a little bit bigger than the other ones. I'm going to refine edge. Oh, wrong one. 1.3, and then layer via copy. And up here, and I'm going to take my cloud. Now I'm going to hit Command T again, and this time I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, just so I can adjust it a bit. Then I'm going to go down to perspective. And this can change how a cloud looks, so it looks a bit more slanted in a way. I'm going to change it right here. I'm going to play around with it a little bit. And then I'm going to go back to free transform, which will change the size. Shift, and then make it a little bit bigger. That should be good, and then hit enter. And I'm going to move it right over here. I think that's good enough for now. That's good cloud, so we're going to move on now. So I'm just going to move on to hue saturation. Hue saturation will basically just change the colors, how vibrant things are. See, if I move it all the way up here, it gets very, very bright. And if I move it down here, it gets very dull, almost to where there's no color at all. Me, I just want to expand it a little bit. Hue can change like the colors. See right here, and then all the way up here, they get very red. I don't want to do that, so I'm just going to hit it back to 0. I'm just going to change the hue saturation. You guys can move it to wherever you want, but I'm going to leave it at 30. Right here. Now, as you can see, we have our final product. To compare the two, let's click on the icons and see the difference. It's a lot brighter and a lot more prettier than it was before. Now, you can combine all these layers into one image now. To do that, I'm going to click on the eye for the background because I don't want to get that messed up. And it's going to hit on this, go down, and hit merge visible, which will merge all of the images that have the icon together. Now, Photoshop is a really amazing tool that you can use to do almost anything with an image. Photoshop is about trial and error, and it's important for you to become more familiar with it by either watching other tutorials or just practicing yourself. And I really encourage you guys to do that to get yourself more familiarized with everything. And like I said earlier, you can download brushes from a website called Brusheezy, where you can find stuff like cloud brushes, planets, and other things. Photoshop can take a lot of patience, but I encourage you to keep at it and you'll really like your end results. I hope you found this tutorial helpful and a good reference for beginning to use Photoshop. Thank you.